Hello, my name is Joey Magana, and this is my project on how allelopathy affects the growth of neighboring plants. This is my abstract, I'm sure you've all seen this. My problem is how allelopathy affects the growth of neighboring plants. For my introduction, allelopathy is a biological phenomenon that involves a plant manipulating the growth of another plant through the release of biochemical compounds. This can be through the roots of the plant or through the plant's pores on its leaves, and these can affect the germination, growth, overall survival, and even plant reproduction of the affected plant. An example of these allelopathic plants is common buckwheat, which is shown to have extremely well suppression against weeds, which is exactly why I'm going to use pigweed as my dependent variable, as well as buckwheat as my independent variable. For my hypothesis, if amaranth is growing next to buckwheat, it'll grow slower than the amaranth not growing next to it, because buckwheat releases chemicals that affect the growth of a pigweed amaranth. Amaranth is the family that pigweed is in. These are my materials. These are my procedures. As for my results, for the first and second weeks, nothing really happened. But for the third week, the buckwheat had germinated. On day 21, my control's plant had germinated of a height of 2.1 centimeters, which ended with 4 centimeters on day 28. However, none of the trial's pigweed had even sprouted at all and germinated, causing an average trial height of 0, as shown in these graphs. As for my discussion, in the experiment, the pigweed had experienced many different effects due to the conditions set by buckwheat. The control had finished after 28 days with a height of 4.1 centimeters. On the contrary, none of the trial's pigweed had experienced any kind of growth or germination for that matter. In fact, the common buckwheat appeared to be thriving in the trial pots. From this data, it can be concluded that when exposed to common buckwheat, pigweed is shown to have severely less growth. This can be linked to agricultural science due to its plant controlling potential, thus being useful for agriculture and the growth of crops. Based off Based off of observations, it can be concluded that the buckwheat affects the height of the pigweed. This is because the pigweed without buckwheat had grown better with the pigweed with the presence of buckwheat. These data and observation shows that the buckwheat did in fact have an effect on the pigweed, proving my hypothesis to be correct. As for my applications, while allelopathy may be a great weed killer, there are many different things that this phenomenon can be applied to besides weed killing. An example of this could be the use of allelopathy in agricultural fields. By permitting the use of other plants while blocking off the use of other plants, um, allelopathy serves as a herbicide. However, it serves as a suitable alternative because it does not have any residual or toxic effects like herbicides. Instead of using plants directly for weed control, the, the allelechemicals can be applied to making their own herbicides, as shown with extraction. Finally, it could be used for the promotion of plant growth, increasing the yield of crops such as wheat or rice. With these possibilities, it's possible to shape a more environmentally friendly future as well as increase efficiency of agriculture using the biological ability of allelopathy. These are my references, and these are my references for my applications. Thank you.